Today's task will be removing the brake pads themselves from the front brake. Previous video shown you how to de-air the brakes, but now I'm going to show you how to remove the actual pads themselves, because it is a bit of a trick. It doesn't tell you in the manual, so you kind of on your own. I've taken this off to give myself a little bit more room. You've got to be careful with these screws, they're very low torque. I've already been through this once, which is why my hands are dirty. I actually practiced this, believe it or not. And these are just loose, I've got it all pumped out. So you take off these are not that tight because I've already been through it once. Okay, so you unbolt it, get this frame clear of the lug, and then twist to push the pads back. So give it a nice twist here. You want to push the pistons back in the cylinder about as far as you can get them. Give yourself lots of room. And if you're putting new pads in, you want to do this. And this is also a good time to connect that, but I'm not going to put new pads in. But you could connect this and pump out all the old fluid at the same time. Right. So now we're down to the pads themselves. But anyway, I've got the pistons pushed back. You see I've got a nice big gap in here to work with. The piston pad is sitting on ridges at both sides. So the easiest way to get that out is you just pull it forward. Hope this is visible. Oh, I can't even do it. Let's get something in there, pry it off the ledge. There it is. It's actually sitting on the anti-rattle spring, which is in the bottom there. And it comes out like that. This one's about half worn. It's going to go back in. This is the anti-rattle spring in the back there. And if you want to get this thing back in, it has to sit on these ledges on this metal holder. So there's some ledges that these little tangs sit on. Okay, this pad, yeah, this is your Chinese puzzle pad. The way to get these off is you have to pull this metal plate as far as you can this way. Yeah, is that helping? So you've got to pull that plate. You're compressing the little rubber boots. Hopefully the pins are sliding, otherwise you're really going to have trouble. And I am going to grease the pins on this when I'm done. Notice how this is already starting to go at an angle. That's what you want to do. You want to tip this other pad at an angle. If I can do it. I was doing it just now. Oh, there it is. And it's just enough room to get one off. And when you got that off, well, the other one's easy, but that's how you do it. Putting it back on, same way, stick it on the top one, it just drops in, and here's your anti-rattle spring in here. So you'll be fighting that too, so you have to get it at an angle and sort of push it over the top. And you want to dual angle it so it's like, is this on the video? No, too high. How's that? Doesn't really show, does it? But you got to get it back over this pin like that. That's how you get them back on. Okay, now I said I was going to grease these pins, so I noticed one of them was at least dry. You got to pull the rubber boot off on both sides and do it near the metal plate. I think that works out easier. And then this whole assembly should, if I can do it, just pull out. And this will swing over and hit the wheel, and right, and there we go. Now the grease I put in there previously, yeah, there's still a bit there. This one's dried off. There's a high melting point grease. Okay, so I'm going to clean this off and put some new lithium-based grease on there. These need to slide because the pistons are only on one side. So the self-adjusting part means that the whole caliper has to move and adjust to the disc as the pads wear down. Otherwise they'd only wear on one side, wouldn't they? So these pins allow the whole caliper to slide, so they've got to move nicely. So I'm going to re-grease those. Brake Super Tech brake cleaner, yay! Fun job. Cleaning. Yeah, it doesn't clean that well, does it? Grease is sticky stuff. What can I tell you? Now the pins do have flats on them. I think that's to help hold the grease in. So you can slap them up fairly well, especially on the flats. Probably also helps you get the pins out of this metal plate if it ever needs to come out. But I'm just going to grease these up with a white lithium grease. It'll do. And then we'll get back on the bike. Okay, so leaving the anti-rattle spring in, I've got the pins greased up. Oh, which way did it go? I think it was this way. Yeah, it's this way. So I'm sliding these back in. Okay. And you are supposed to put these little rubber grommets back over the lips. Oh, look at that, the pistons fell out. Well, they're not the pistons, these are insulating pads to stop the heat get to the fluid. What I'm doing right now is I'm turning these rubber boots to get them onto the little retainers at each end. There's one on this end. These rubber boots are getting a bit old. Yeah, they are 25 years old. I think when I replace the shoes next time, I think I'll replace these boots as well. Okay, so to get stuff back together, you've got to pull that pad all the way back as far as it will go. You get the outer brake shoe, hook it over the one end, like that. Push it in on the anti-rattle spring, tip it that way and tip it this way, squeeze that sucker over. There you heard it click over, so we'll push on, why would it? There we go. Right, and that's the outer pad on. Inner pad, you've got to make sure you can actually get those things in. The little ledges to fit on these ledges, so you may have to come back out a bit with this plate because the pistons will be in the way. Not that far. Juggle it in, push down a bit on the spring and hook it over the little ledges. I've got to get the plate out a bit further. It's always a trick. There we go. So I've got it sitting on those ledges. This is on. It's ready to go back on. I've been swarmed by mosquitoes and car traffic. Around here somewhere. Where is it? There it is. The other one's up here. Okay, this is a 8mm hex wrench. Just rock it forward a little. That's good. And that's good. Alright, let's get this little clip back on. I'll put the bolt in. Just a little tighten on that. Notice I'm not even going down the handle. Just a little tighten for that one. and that's enough. Steel into aluminum, it will corrode in place. It won't loosen up. This is steel into actually steel, so I was able to give that a bit more torque than I would do in aluminum. Right, so it's all nice and loose. Caliper is floating nicely. I am going to squeeze it out, so I'm going to show you. And you want to do this before you go riding anywhere. Let's pump it out and you'll see it move. 4, 5, 6, 7, and there we go. Now it's fully out, ready to ride. And left hand one, exactly the same method, and I am going to go ahead and do it because I found that the pins were dry, so I'm going to go lube those pins on this one just to make sure it actually slides across and wears nice and evenly on both pads. And while we're at it, let's have a look at the rear brake. Just flip the cover off. It just hooks this side and flips off from the other. This one has a couple of split pins in. Oh look, there's one. You want to make sure the pads are loose to begin with, so I'm just pushing the pistons back so the pads are nice and loose. See if I can get that other split pin. There we go. It's a little spring pin, reusable. Good idea. Right, can you just grab the pin and push it through the hole? As they're a bit tricky, I'm just going to pull out the inside pad there. So I'm going to excuse the reach. But you get the idea. You can pull it all the way out and get both pads out. And this one should come out, right? Oh, do I have to take the caliper off? Well, now I've just lost it down there. There it comes, and there is a little washer behind it. But that's basically it. There is this washer in here as well. Get out of the light, I can grab it and pull it out. There it is. It's one-sided. I think the idea is this side goes towards the front. There's an arrow. Oh yeah. Goes towards the front and it pushes it on the pad. Oh, a lot of pad on this. That's good. I'm going to put a bit of grease on there to make it stick, and now I'm just going to put it right back in. The other one looks pretty good, and just to save myself a bit of trouble, but that's how you get the back ones out. Get them back in, you just got to line up the holes and push it back in. I'm going to grease this and be right back. Right, so not a lot of grease, just a very light coating. Stick it back on. And hopefully I can get it back in and align the pins. Well, that's going to be the trick, isn't it? Maybe that's why I took the caliper off before. I'm trying to do it the easy way. So I'm pushing the pin across. Okay, I've got to find the hole on the other side. Oh, and there it goes. There's one side. And I'm pulling this up and down to try and find the hole on the other side. Ah, there it goes. Now all I've got to do is locate the holes on the top and put the springs back in. Stop the pins coming out. One. Hopefully I put that one because I can't see it. It's blind. There we go. Two. Done. Now they're loose right now because I jammed that tool in there and wedged them apart. So I've got to pump them back with the foot brake. It's like watching paint dry, isn't it? Important though, got to pump it back. Right, done.